Hi everyone, welcome to Make Moments Matter, a music education podcast, where I share lesson ideas, songs, games, and inspiring things for your elementary music classroom. My name is David Rao, and I am the music teacher who blogs at makemomentsmatter.org. This episode of the podcast is a replay containing the audio version of a Musical Mondays live video. If you're not familiar with Musical Mondays, every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I go live on Facebook and Instagram to share about the lessons that I'm using in class with my students. I give a recap of my kindergarten through 5th grade lessons, and then do a deep dive about one grade level and share the books, instruments, songs, and process that I use to teach the lesson to kids. This podcast episode contains all the audio from the Musical Mondays video, but if you'd like to see a replay of the video itself, you can find a link to the archived video on YouTube when you click the link in the notes for this episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's the show. Hey everyone, my name is David Rao, and I'm the music teacher who blogs on Facebook, on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on a variety of places when you search for my name, David Rao, or Make Moments Matter. I'm here for another Musical Mondays tonight, and I'm excited to share with you just a few thoughts and some ideas. I'm going to do another use it or lose it sort of video tonight, and tonight I'm talking about social media, which should be great. I'm very excited to share some thoughts about social media, and I'm going to get to that in just a second. So if you hear me talk about the links page, or say like it's on the links page, or it's live, whatever, if you ever hear me talk about that, there's a page on my blog where anytime in these videos I talk about something, I put a link to it on that page. You can click there by either just going straight to my blog and doing the video tab, or wherever you're watching, listening, seeing this video. At the bottom of the description of this video, there should be a little link to take you directly there. Another thing, I was recently at the Alaska Orff chapter this last weekend sharing ideas, and it was so much fun and so great, but somehow over the trip I had a lot of congestion and stuff, so I lost my voice a little bit. It's coming back, but if you see me pop a cough drop or take a drink of water, that's why. Or if you're listening to this and you're like, wow, he sounds not great. Yeah, exactly. It was really fun teaching kindergarten today. But that's a thing. But speaking of workshops, I'm going to be doing a couple workshops in October, both in the North Ohio / Michigan area. So if you are close to the Northwest Ohio Orff chapter, which is basically in the greater Toledo area, it's in Maumee, Ohio. I'm doing a workshop there on October 14th. And then if you're part of the Michigan Music Educators, I'm doing a workshop for MMEA for the fall conference, the elementary division, and that is October 21st at Wayne State in the greater Detroit area. So if you're around there, I would love to see you and meet you in person and connect over a couple workshops, and I hope that'll be very fun. Okay, so the last couple weeks I've been doing this thing where I say use it or lose it ideas, and I've talked about songs and books and lesson plans that either we should hold on to or promote or get rid of, or consider removing or sidelining or doing less of. And tonight I'm going to talk, this is very ironic, I'm going to talk about social media, and it's ironic because I am live streaming this video on social media, but I want to talk a little bit about social media and what you might think about and as you continue to use social media so that you can use it more wisely, but you can also safeguard yourself and your mental well-being. Why am I talking about this? Because just a lot in the last few years, social media has been both a blessing and a curse. A blessing because it's connected people over long distances. It's helped us grow this online community. I would not have the blog and the connections and whatever, I'd not be able to do the cool things that I do and meet cool people if it weren't for social media. I've learned so much from so many people online. I have gained so much. I've made so many friends, and I think that is amazing. But I also know that social media has been very detrimental for me and for many others in a lot of other ways. I had some friends who I was just scrolling Instagram. I don't get on social media as much as I used to. I used to be on social media a lot, scrolling through things, looking through ideas, and I'm not on there as much. But honestly, in the last few weeks, I've seen 2 or 3 friends, two people who I can think of right now and go back and find their stories. But 2 or 3 friends who have said, well, I'm back in the classroom. It almost didn't happen. And I've just been struggling a lot these last couple years. And honestly, I'm back. I'm excited about it, but I've been really struggling. And I went back, I was thinking about it. I went back through and looked at a lot of the stories and things that they had shared. And there was like no mention of this. There was a lot of really fun, exciting content, exciting shared stories and shared ideas, but there was very little talking about struggles or frustrations or issues. And I feel like that's a way in which social media has failed us, especially as teachers, because I feel like there's this toxic positivity or this toxic idea that when we're on social media and sharing about our classrooms, about what's happened to us, that we can only talk about the good things and we can only talk about the exciting things and only share that. I really, really try in these Musical Monday videos to talk about like what in my lessons has worked. And I am excited and I'm happy about teaching, and I hope that that comes across. But I hope I also talk about like, well, I tried this and this did not work. Or I tried this, it didn't work the way I wanted. I changed it. I did something else. I hope that you hear that in these stories and in these videos, because that is absolutely true. And have there been times over the years where I've said like, wow, this is really hard. When I taught in Michigan at one of my schools, it was so hard. I was so drained at the end of the day. By the end of that year, I ended up taking another job in Michigan. But by the end of that first year in Michigan, I said to all my friends and family around me, I was like, I would rather work at Costco. Like this job is just, it's not right. So I try and share about that as much as I can to share the honest like truth behind what you hear from teachers. But I feel like a lot of times all you're getting is like, oh, it's positive. Oh, we're making an impact. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And there's this sort of toxic positivity. And I want to be aware of that personally. And I hope that all of y'all are too, that it's okay to share about the struggles. It's okay to talk about things that aren't working. It's okay to be like a little frustrated. Obviously, if you're frustrated or drained or tired, you're probably not gonna be like, you know what? I want to take a picture for Instagram. But there are so many great things about social media in that like you don't just have to be like, well, let me take this great nice picture, because you can like make a story, you can write a post, you can talk about the things to be like, hey, I gotta ask a question, or you can reach out to other people. It doesn't always have to be let me take this great fun happy picture, because that's sort of all you really see on social media a lot of times. So when you look at another so some thoughts. When you look at another teacher's Instagram or Facebook or whatever, think about your life and what you post on social media, and then think about that's probably also true for this person. Because I don't feel like posting when I'm tired or drained or stressed, and I often don't. And so if you are only seeing this great, wonderful, happy picture, just know that like probably there's a lot of times too where that person is frustrated or tired or sick or overwhelmed or whatever. Like we are all feeling that. So just keep that in your head. It's like with a grain of salt. Like you always, we forget that because you see so many things on social media that are just really happy. But just like keep in your head that like, probably there's also some other stuff going on. So that's just something to think about when you're looking at their classroom or looking at their pictures or whatever. A thought is to take lots of great ideas, take inspiration, look at pictures, think about, could I do that in my room? Or oh, that game, that's really interesting how they shared that. And don't feel like that's the only way, that's the best way. Just think like, hey, there are these cool things, like maybe I could use that for my classroom. How can I adapt it? How can I use this to help my students reach their goals, to help my students be better? But don't feel like, I think what happens sometimes is we compare ourselves, and don't feel like you have to do that. Don't feel like that's like, here's the standard on social media and I must do that. No, like just do what you know is right or what works for you. Okay, another thing, I just said don't compare yourself. I do that all the time. I was talking to my friends who their kindergartner just went to school for the first time this year, and I went over and as like a way to connect with her, I was like, okay, so tell me about school. How's it going? tell me about your favorite class, and like being like, is it going to be music? It's not going to be music. She's going to say PE. She said PE, always, obviously. Okay, so never compare yourself to the PE teacher. Like, that's the first thing, because these kids, they're going to be like, I love PE, right? Anyway, but I asked her, like, so how's music going? And what do you like? And in my head, as I'm hearing this kindergarten, who's like 3 weeks into school, as I'm hearing her talk about her time in kindergarten, I'm thinking like, well, I don't know if I would have done it that way. Oh, she's talking about Pete the Cat. You're teaching Pete the Cat in the first week? Like, I don't know this person's lesson. I don't know this person. I don't know how they're doing it. Don't compare yourself. Just be like, you know what? Cool. I'm so glad this kid is excited about these songs or this whatever. And just take that and then, you know, think like, okay, well, that's interesting. How would I do it different in my classroom or whatever? But don't feel this pressure to compare yourself. Okay, so those are some thoughts about lose it. Lose the toxic positivity. Lose the fear of stress. Lose the I must compare myself. Lose the this is the correct way and I'm not doing that. Don't do that. What should you use social media for? What are you going to use it for? How are you going to use it? Use social media for real stories and actual discussion. If you're going to be on social media and you want to connect to those conversations, do. If a conversation is toxic and stressful, don't interact with it. Go away from it. The thing about social media is it's not real. It's online. You're not in some firefight with someone across the country who has a very strong opinion about fixed dough or movable dough. Like, you don't have to deal with that. So if there's something going on Facebook that stresses you out, don't interact with it. It will keep stressing you out. For example, there are some profiles on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or whatever that I followed for a while and I stopped because it stressed me out. It was either all super huge barrage of positive all the time and I just felt like overwhelmed or felt like it didn't match up and I was like, I just can't watch this. Or it was, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong. And that stressed me out too. And it wasn't giving me what I was hoping social media would. It wasn't giving me the inspiration. It wasn't giving me ideas. It wasn't giving me the feedback or the help that I was hoping social media would. So I unfollowed. So guess what? You can unfollow. I'm saying this on social media. And it may be people unfollow me. You can unfollow. It is a thing, right? So use social media for groups that you connect with and people that you feel connected to. Use it for people that give you great ideas and share and are helpful. But if you're not feeling that, you don't have to keep following them. Yes, leave comments. Yes, leave connections. If you think something is really great, hit like, hit share, but not because it's going to increase someone's like clicks or whatever. Like, do it because you legitimately think it's worthwhile for sharing and you really want someone else to know about it. That is a great reason to like or share. Because they ask you to like or share, that is not a great reason to like or share. But like or share because you really feel like it is valuable, good content. One thing you might consider doing, if you have a profile that is like your personal profile, but you also follow teachers, like maybe consider making a teacher profile. And I don't mean like a profile where you're going to just like share photos from your classroom and you're going to become like, I don't know, Insta famous or whatever. But if you have your personal profile and you have like a profile where you follow a bunch of teachers, consider making a second profile. Why? Because sometimes you need to turn off school. Like, I don't have school email on my phone. I have like a personal Instagram that I don't share with people on these channels because like I want to go on that Instagram and like see all my friends' posts and share stuff like that. But if I'm like getting school stuff 24/7 or teaching stuff 24/7, it is a like burnout central. So consider like logging off Teachergram and having your own like personal teacher Instagram or Facebook and your like a teacher Instagram, Facebook like channel where you can like divide that and not feel like you must connect all the time. Okay. Ask questions of people. If you're like, this is a really great idea, ask them. If you feel like they're a really great person to follow or a really great whatever, like reach out and connect and say like, wow, I'm so thankful for the content you're putting out or blah, blah, blah. But also like, hey, you know, like I had a question or I struggled with whatever. Have you struggled with that? Like reach out and make connections with teachers who you know are out there. Ask questions in those Facebook groups only if you feel like it's a safe, good place to be. If it's not, don't be a part of that group. There are some really big Facebook groups out there that are worth leaving. I'm just going to say, because if it only gives you stress, it's not worth continuing to add that into your life. Okay, take school email off your phone. I promise it'll be fine in the morning. And then follow accounts that are non-teacher accounts and a lot of you are like, yeah, I do that. But like, go and do that so that you get lots of that in your feed too. Because if you're like not gonna take my advice and be like, I'm gonna have a teacher Instagram and a personal Instagram, so you can like put all that teachergram stuff in one place so you don't see it when you're like scrolling in bed at 9 p.m. or whatever. If you stay up that late, I'm old anyway. But like if you don't do that, like think about like beefing up your profile with lots of hobbies and things you're interested in, so you see lots of that too, and not just the teachery stuff. Okay, so a couple like let me be real moments then. So if you were to see my office right now, and okay, hi Instagram, I'll let you do this. See all this junk that's in here? This is what you don't see because I point the camera very specifically. Okay, I'm going to try and do this at Facebook. Oh, I can't. I don't know if you can really see. Look at all of this. It is a mess in here because it's you see like the fun, like my books and stuff, which legitimately, like most of these are just like books I like reading. It's not necessarily like teachery stuff. There's some up there. But that world is behind people who sit in front of their cameras and talk on social media. It is. That is true life. So just know that is absolutely real. And just know that that's a thing. And here's me saying to you again, don't believe everything you see on social media. Take the value from it, take the goodness from it, and then if there's something that's stressing you out, leave that behind. Leave behind this idea of you must compare yourself. There's this line from a musical I like that talks about all the vampires in our life, the things that suck life from us and suck joy from us and take all the good things from us. And one of the things they talk about is the vampire of despair. And they say, if someone came up to you on the street and said, you're not good enough, who do you think you're kidding? I can't believe you're even trying that. If someone came up to you on the street and said that, you'd be like, wow, this person is completely out of their league. They don't know me at all. What in the world is that? Why did they think that they should come up and say it to me? Like, what? It'd be so strange. But when you're lying in bed at night and the vampire of despair comes to you and starts saying those things to yourself, or you feel that as you're scrolling social media, you need to think like, no, this is not real. I can do this. It is, so, but what I'm saying is I think social media contributes to that a lot of times. So as you're choosing what to put into your head and into your life, think about on social media, like, is this account really helping me grow? Is it not? And then make some decisions. You don't have to follow anything that says music ed. You really don't. Okay, so what do I do to help myself? I don't get on social media as much. I know I used to a lot. It really stressed me out. I don't get on Twitter hardly ever. I used to do Twitter a lot more because in the South a lot of teachers used Twitter. I don't really use it anymore because whenever I get on Twitter, I'm stressed out either by like the barrage of all the stuff or I don't know, politics or weird scammy things, or I don't know, Twitter itself seems to be imploding. I don't know. So I don't really get on Twitter because it used to always stress me out. And I'm very selective about when I scroll other teacher things, Facebook or Instagram or whatever. So there's that. I have other hobbies. I really, really like houseplants. There are some in the room. This one, poor one over here is dying. Don't know why. I'm trying to figure that out. But I have this book that my mother-in-law gave me, How to Houseplant, because I really like books too. So I really like houseplants. I have an app on my phone where it like reminds me to water my plants and mist my plants because I just love plants. I really like cooking. I've really fallen in love with cooking Korean food in like the last 3 years. I don't know why, but it's so good. And it's not that hard to do. So much so that I got this huge cookbook for Christmas. And I have 2 more on my wish list for this Christmas/birthday. What else? I play this really silly farm game on my phone. I like sit when I'm stressed and I like plant corn and like harvest cotton and plant rubber tree. Like it's all this, it's ridiculous, but it's not scrolling social media. It's not me falling into this spiral of stress on social media. It's me doing what is best for me and my mental health. And for me and my mental health, sometimes that means like, oh my gosh, I need to feed the cows. Like that, which is silly, but it's my life. And then So what I'm saying is you don't have to be on Instagram or Facebook all the time. Take what you take from that and learn from that, and then log off. Okay, so my lose it is lose social media. My use it is use social media. But go back and hear more if you're interested about how and why. But 2 ways that I've used social media. I follow not just music teacher accounts, but other teacher accounts too. And I always try and glean from and take the things that are really inspiring and fun. And my friend Jed has this channel where he talks about teaching. And one of the things he talked about was his favorite teacher tool. And I saw it and I had to get it. And because like 3 weeks ago, I shared on Facebook and stuff that I was like, I wanted to add more fun things to my classroom to make them feel more homey and more exciting. And so I saw him talk about this and I immediately went out and bought it. And now I can absolutely attest, it is so cool. So there's this chair. It's a telescoping folding chair. Obviously, I put it on the links page in case you're interested. But when you get it, it looks like this. For those of you who teach on a cart, oh my gosh, this is like perfect. But when I need a stool, guess what? It's a telescoping stool. The rainbow one, which I think is perfect for primary grades, was the cheapest one. It does come in solid colors. I don't know, you could probably use it like go fishing or I don't know, something else. And then it also can do different sizes. So you want a little kickstand for when you're playing guitar, you want a little something to set something on, guess what? You can do that. And I found this through Teacher Facebook by following people who I really liked and cared about, and I followed this and and it's so cool. Anyway, and look how easy. It's just like whoop, open and then close. It's magic. So this is, I think, a social media win. The other social media win, the other win that I've gotten is that a couple weeks ago I said, hey, I'm continuing to try and add to my library for the music room where I have more stories that center around Asian and Pacific Islanders, Asian Americans, Asians in general, just in literature, not just Asian Americans, but Asians. And I was like, I really want to beef that up. Some of you gave me some great examples, and I went out and I looked for them. And another thing I have said a lot in the last few years is use Amazon for good, not for evil. So if you can buy a book from a used bookstore or a local bookstore and not buy it from Amazon, you should do that because Amazon does not need our dollars. Local bookstores, music stores, used bookstores, they do. Amazon does not. So I went on Amazon and I found these books, and I then took the ISBNs and went to my local library and rented out a bunch. I literally think I have 20 books right here. And a couple were some that were directly recommended by you all out there when I reached out and said, hey, what are some really great books? What are your favorite books? Blah, blah, blah. I had a lot of people respond, and I got so many recommendations that'll probably be going on my list online soon of books that you should consider. But then also Amazon was like, oh, you're interested in children's books that are that feature, AAPI characters and protagonists in stories. Okay, well, here are 20 more. And so Amazon gave me more ideas, and I immediately went to my library and typed in, and I put them on hold, and I have all these books. And so I have those to look through and look forward to, and I'm going to put those on my recommended list very soon if I go through and they seem to be really great. So I'm going to try and add as many of those as I can. But those are 2 ways that you can use social media for good. Ask for recommendations. Look for great recommendations. Dodge and bypass all the things that cause you stress. If social media causes you stress, don't use it. If one user's account causes you stress, unfollow. If something is not benefiting you or your students, you don't have to do it when it's social media. Think about those things. Another thing that really benefited me was reaching out and asking questions about what books would be good, but also looking for the joy. I think this is going to bring me joy for like forever, or until I break it or something. I don't know. But I'm just very excited about it. Anyway, I hope that tonight doesn't make you feel like, oh my gosh, this is so stressful. But I hope it makes you feel like, wow, I'm not the only one. And because there are people out there all over who are saying or not saying, wow, I feel like maybe I should leave teaching because I'm really stressed about it. A lot of people all over. And I don't feel like social media always helps. So I hope that tonight has given you some ideas of how you can use social media more selectively, how you can use it to your own benefit, how you can benefit others by liking and sharing things that you really do think are genuinely valuable, and not just liking or sharing something because someone asks you to, or because it's like, oh, gotta like it. No, you don't. Like and share the things that really, really are valuable and beneficial for you. And I hope that tonight has given you some affirmation or just, I hope you feel some solidarity and understand that, like, we're all struggling. We're all going to different things at different times. And I hope that you feel that now you can use social media maybe in a way that's more beneficial to you and more beneficial for your students in the long run. Okay, having said this, now I'm saying to you, you should go log off of social media. Go read a book, have some wine. I don't know. I'm going to go hang out with my Kindle, and because I have like 4 books from the library that are like due pretty soon. I need to like read through. Not that I'm not burning through a bunch of books. I got a ton. Not burning books. Sorry, burning through. Let me mean like I'm going through them fast. But log off. Go have some ice cream, or sit and play your farm game like me. Maybe we can be friends. It's Township. I'm on Township. If that's if you play, find me. Well, let's be friends. I will send you the extra carrots that I have. Anyway, go log off. Have a great night, and I hope I'll see you next week for another Musical Monday, where we'll be talking about more things that will benefit you, hopefully, in your classroom. All right, everyone. Have a great night. See you next time.